Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs. The first little pig was very lazy. The second little pig was very playful. And the third little pig was very smart. One day, their mother called them together and told them that it was time they left to seek their fortunes. She gave each of them 8 gold coins and sent them off into the world. They hadn't gone far when they met a possum.
Out into the world, eh? Well, you'd better watch out for the bad wolf. He'd like to get 3 little fellows like you. Of course, if you happen to have a magic wolf-proof rope like this one, you'd be perfectly safe. All you do is put 3 posts in the ground, attach the rope to the first post, wrap it around the second post, and attach it to the third post.
But the smart pig pointed out that 1/2 of the rectangular area was still open.
That's where the magic comes in. Stay inside the rectangular area and you'll be safe.
The lazy pig thought it sounded like too much work. The playful pig said she wasn't afraid of any wolf. But the smart little pig convinced his brother and sister. So, with their 8 gold coins, they each bought 8 meters of magic wolf-proof rope. After a couple of hours of trudging along in the hot sun, the lazy pig spotted some shade trees and decided to save himself some work. The first 2 trees were 7 meters apart. The third tree was 1 meter from the second tree. So the first little pig had a rather narrow wolf-proof area, but it seemed to be a fine place for a snooze. Meanwhile, the other 2 pigs continued on their way. The playful pig began to feel like playing, so she said goodbye to her brother and began to play. The third little pig continued on until he found just the right place for a farm. Being smart, he decided to plan things out first. He had 8 meters of rope. He could put 7 meters on one side. That would leave 1 for the other side. Then he'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 square meters to live in. 7 meters by 1 meter make 7 square meters. But then he wondered if he could do better. If he put 6 meters on one side, he'd have 2 meters on the other. So he'd have 6 square meters plus 6 more square meters, and 6 and 6 make 12 square meters. That was better than 7, but what if he had 5 on one side? That left 3 meters of rope for the other side. That would make 5 square meters once, 5 square meters twice, and 5 square meters 3 times, for 15 square meters in all. That was better yet. Could he get even more room? If he put 4 meters on one side, he'd have 4 meters left for the other side. Then he'd have 4 square meters, another 4, another 4, and another 4. And 4 fours was 16 square meters. And that was the best yet. Now, if he had 3 meters on one side, he'd have 5 meters left over for the other side. Then he'd have 3 square meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And 5 threes was 15 square meters. But that was less than he'd had with the sides 4 by 4. That was the same as he'd gotten with 5 on one side and 3 on the other. Of course, one was just like the other, only turned around. It didn't matter which side the rope was on, the rectangle would be the same. Then 2 meters on one side and 6 on the other would be the same as 6 on one side and 2 on the other, only turned around. And 1 meter on a side with 7 on the other was the same area as 7 on one side and 1 on the other. So 4 by 4 would give him the most area to farm in, and best of all, he'd be safe from the wolf. In the meantime, the playful pig was still jumping when the lazy pig ran into her wolf-proof area. But there was no area.
Yipe!
Quick, in here. There's plenty of room.
And so the 3 pigs were safe at last. Now, normally the story would end at this point, but a short time later...
What happened to you?
The wolf told the possum what had happened, and...
Well, my friend, I have the very thing for you. 24 meters of pig-proof rope. Yes, sir, guaranteed to keep one and all pigs away.
24 meters of pig-proof rope. Huh. I wonder how much area that will give me.